of the things I heard that really resonates with me, because we've just really found this since we've been in the owning and managing storage facilities business, is this idea of how to manage something when I'm not there every day. How to manage something remotely, how to manage people remotely, systems remotely, how to bring those all together so that we can more efficiently manage those. Those of you who kind of brought up something around that theme, what are the real pain points there?
Say just small maintenance stuff, kind of getting my boots on the ground to handle that rather than me handling it all.
Yeah, and if you're not there, you're not local to it, it's getting first of all, hiring the right person, finding the right profile of person to hire, training, equipping, resourcing to make sure that stuff can happen without you having to intervene. All right, who else? What are some of the other pain points?
Automating rental increases and auction time.
Okay, automating the rental rate management, let's call it, process, and the lien auction process. Okay, what else?
Maximizing profit centers?
All right, so but when you say maximizing, so part of it is the profit centers you have and managing the revenue there. And then I'm also hearing a little bit of profit centers, meaning what else can we do revenue-wise? Okay. Who else?
Dealing with checks in general.
Just dealing with just receiving checks.
Yeah. Can't get everybody to pay with a credit card, can we? Yeah. What else?
I was just going to say, I brought up during Ken's presentation earlier, but you weren't here, but just managing big CapEx from a distance.
Yeah. Managing the projects beyond the scope maybe of that boots on the ground guy. Yep. Others?
I'd say for the boots on the ground that you were asking about, just trusting them to do, cutting locks and just doing the auction, making sure that they're trustworthy in that process. And
Yeah.
kind of goes missing when they open it up.
Yeah. There's not much more risk we take as owners of self-storage facilities than to do the auctions wrong. We had a client 9 months ago, 10 months ago, had done a storage auction just like they always have done them. And about a month and a half later, a kid comes back from Afghanistan looking for his stuff. Thankfully, they had done it exactly right. But can you imagine if they didn't? They miss a step. If they didn't get that ad in there, but they said, let's go ahead and do it anyway. Or if they didn't get that notice sent to the right. There are so many steps in there that have to be perfect. And the liability is incredible. I'd hate to be the guy who standing out there when Channel 2 News shows up with this kid saying, what did you do to this hero, right? So auctions, making sure those are done, huge, huge thing. Who else?
We were also talking about, I think you heard it, but to your point about were all the steps followed, having standard operating procedures, processes in place.
Yeah, so having not winging it and things all over the place that I know about, but it's hard to get everybody, organized, making sure that we've got processes that everybody follows. When you're talking about remotely managing, and that's what we do in all of our facilities, they're all unattended, automated, and so we have to have those processes that everybody follows, and not everybody at each location just wings it and figures it out for themselves. Yeah. Others?
Mine's along those same lines where when I'm in the acquisition of a facility, it's kind of like you're prioritizing your inefficiencies, right? And so I have a known bad habit of not starting my boots on the ground off with their full scope.
Yeah.
And I always convince myself that, well, I'll just start them with this and then I'll evolve it to that. And well, sure as shit, I'm still doing all of the stuff they were supposed to evolve into a year and a half later.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I learned it from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so all of you are pointing to, I think in all of these, is how do we get systems, procedures, processes in place that are, kind of on cruise control so that we're not making that decision each time. We don't, every time we do an auction, say, all right, what do we do this month? Or we're not, when we go to hire a boots on the ground person, all right, what should I look for? Those ought to all be processes and systems that we've got nailed down so that we do it the same every time. We've got 3 or 4 of our senior staff, all of whom worked for at one time one of the big REITs. They worked as managers in a storage facility. And these guys all do it by the book. Unlike me or my brother Bob, who might cut a corner here or there, these guys won't cut a corner. By the book, everything, because that's how they were trained. That's how they were taught, is first you do this, then you do this, then you do this. You don't go, I think I could just go over here, because that's how they trained, and that's how they incentivized, and they had to do it that way. And so that's how we train now. In fact, these guys do all of our training. Bob and I they won't let us train anybody. These guys do the training because we found that the processes are much more important than even than the person that we hire. If we've got a system, we can find somebody who can plug into that system much better than hiring somebody and saying, let's figure it out. Let me start here and then add some to it. We start with a system that is clear. We know what we're looking for when we go start looking for somebody to hire. We know what their scope is going to be. We hand it to them. We don't make it up as we go on each different facility. And then we train to that. And we probably train 50% more than we need to. But I'd rather train 100% more than we need to than 1% less than we need to, because that 1% less is where they're going to get us in some trouble. So spend way more time and effort and resources on training than you think you need, even for this boots on the ground person who you might think, unlike and I'm making some assumptions here, but unlike a manager of a facility who's there interfacing with customers every day, we all know those guys need trained, right? But our boots on the ground guy, we think, if you got any sense, if you got any maintenance sense, if you got, you know what to do. So we kind of short-change the training sometimes on those folks. So to answer a lot of issues that a lot of you have raised here that are pinch points, it all starts with having a process that's identified, it's codified, it's written down on stone tablets, and then hiring to that and training to that. So 3/4 of the issues that you guys raised about getting other people to do what we want them to do starts with us knowing what we want them to do, making sure that that's really clear, and then hiring to that and training to that. Give me some feedback on that. Push back against that.
All right, so if you're running a real lean operation, even if you are, like currently it's me, if it's, okay, here's an issue, we need to figure out what we're doing, we're gonna document the process while we do it, and then next time we tweak it and make it better.
Yeah.
But how do we get out of that role and make it more efficient where it's not kind of hodgepodge?
Yeah, so invest the time to step back away from it and figure out what the process is. Don't reinvent the wheel, right? Don't figure it out each time you do it. You got a whole room full of people who have figured that out. Every step that you're making, somebody's figured out how to do that. So come up with a set of processes, not as you encounter it, but taking a step back and understanding, all right, when A happens, here's what we do. When B happens, here's what we do. When we need to do this, here are the things that we do. And invest the time in training yourself in getting that process, that policies and procedures, operations manual, whatever you want to call it. There are resources that you can find that can help you put that together, and then make sure you train to it. What we do sometimes is decide not to invest in that time up front, and we go and we just do it.